today's bizarre, unbelievably astonishing announcement. The European Union sent a message to Greece today as it ended years of bailouts and reliance on Brussels. Senior European Union officials sent bizarre messages to praise Greece after the Greek government finally exited 8 years of Brussels-enforced austerity, which was part of the multi-billion euro bailout program. Well, I wonder why they sent this message, because unfortunately Greece is worse off today than it was any time in the past 8 years. Marking, they say, the end of the third bailout program, the EU officials sent messages of support and they praised Greece after years of political and economic instability as the country was under close watch from European and international creditors. The International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and other institutions, the European Central Bank, the IMF, committed more than 288 billion euros in loans, making it the world's biggest financial rescue. And we have to, just on a tangent, go off and say Germany never ever paid Greece for restitution from what it stole from Greece in the Second World War. And the amount of debt Greece had was the amount that Germany owed Greece and never paid. That's not a tangent, that's another issue on the side. And yet Germany says, no, Greece has to pay its debts. But Germany doesn't take its own advice. It goes around as if it's the master of Europe with a big stick. Greece was granted a loan of 3 bailouts. The most recent was in 2015 of 86 billion euros, handed to Greece when only 61.9 billion was required. So why did they give about a third more? Because they want Greece in debt. It's in an ever-ending downward debt spiral that it can never pay. During the 8-year period, Greece was unable to chart its own economic policy. Thus, it was forced to follow the obligations of whatever the international creditors told Greece to do. However, Athens never repaid the loans, the article says. One of the EU most senior officials, the European President Donald Tusk, sent a message of congratulations. He did this through Twitter. He said, quote, "You did it. Congratulations to Greece and its people on ending the program of financial assistance. With huge efforts and European solidarity, you seized the day." What is this guy talking about? He must be living on another planet, for God's sakes. What are they up to? They're so frightened that the European Union is falling apart, which it is, that they have to come out and say something good about somebody, and they've decided to put Greece in their crosshairs. Well, that's not even the truth here. He said, "Today we celebrate the end of a very long and difficult journey, and I would like to commend the Greek people on their perseverance and resourcefulness." What perseverance? They're not persevering. They're having panic attacks. They've got permanent DNA damage because of the fact that they're so malnourished, and people don't have enough money to pay their debts. And we're heading into winter. How are they going to be keeping themselves warm? They can't even afford natural gas or heating oil to heat their little bones, their houses. He says here, what matters now is to build on this achievement by sticking to sound fiscal and economic policies. This is the way to strengthen confidence in the Greek economy, reap the fruits of reforms, support job creation, and attract more investment. There are no jobs, and there is no investment. What are these people talking about? The European Commission for Economic Financial Affairs said Greece can, quote, "finally turn the page on a torrid 8 years of austerity measures demanded by Brussels in exchange for rescue funds." Peter Moscovici said, "We have had 8 very difficult years, often very painful years, we have had 3 successful programs, but now Greece can finally turn the page on a crisis that has lasted too long. The worst is over. What is he talking about? He must be, I'm definitely thinking he's living on another planet. He says Greeks have suffered immensely. Yes, we know that. As an American living in Greece, we know that. I'm testifying to that. And this person is obviously, he's been given a role to play, and it's a theatrical role for him. I don't know what they're up to, but things have not changed at all in Greece. Things are worse than they ever were. In fact, they're thinking of, and they will do it, they're going to have elections anytime soon, and they're also going to cut pensions, and people will not be able to live. Forget it. He says Greeks have suffered immensely, with almost a fifth of working age population out of work. That's a fifth, meaning 20%. And youth unemployment remains the worst in Europe at a 43.6% unemployment. Well, thank you. You did this to us. You did this to the Greek people, and they're suffering. And you're coming and saying, congratulations, we did it. You didn't do anything. You didn't suffer. You're not malnourished. You're going left, right, and center, wearing your expensive $600 suits, going to various functions and dinners, enjoying your shrimp cocktails and your champagne. Forget it. You have no idea what the Greek people are going through. It's the worst situation in Europe. And according to forecast unemployment, they say it's expected to fall 14% by 2023, which is still almost double the Eurozone average of 8.3%. Congratulations to you. You've really, really made Greece an SHIT hole. Moscovici admits he was conscious that all those people may not feel that their situation has improved yet much at all. He says, my message to them is therefore simple. Europe will continue to work with you and for you. Despite Brussels lauding the end of the bailout, Greece has committed to attaining primary budget surplus of 3.5% of GDP until 2022 and 2.2% until 2060, something only achieved by a handful of countries since the 1970s. So how's Greece going to do it when it's got the worst employment record in the whole of the Eurozone area? I mean, what are you? You must be smoking something. You're seeing things through rose-colored glasses, and you're also smoking something. It's affecting your brain, Mr. Moscovici. I'm calling you out. You don't know what you're talking about. You should just resign, quit, or somebody should fire you and Donald Tusk. For God's sakes. Have you no shame? Have you no shame? The IMF says they voiced disagreement with the EU's demand, has urged the arrangement will only end in high taxation and low social spending. The body urged Greece to stay in line with its spending plans while reducing high tax rates and broadening income tax base. The IMF said any delay in these reforms would seriously undermine the credibility of the assumptions underlying the debt relief measures agreed with European partners. The IMF had a code that it would never give money to countries that were in such dire straits that they could not pay it back. They knew Greece was in that situation, and they gave Greece funds anyway, over the amount that they needed. Why did they do that? Because they wanted Greece in a more deeper debt spiraling hole than it was to begin with. I don't know. Maybe it's because, for example, what's his face who's still alive. All right, more power to him. The warmonger who says that you have to annihilate the Greek people, get rid of their language, and get rid of their faith, their religious faith. Okay, let's remember that the New Testament was written in the Greek language. And when 5 Greeks went to meet our Lord Jesus Christ and they were waiting for him all day to meet him, one of his disciples says, Master, there are 5 young Greek men here and they want to, Hellenes, and they want to speak to you. They've been waiting all day. And of course, our Lord Jesus Christ was healing people, feeding people all day long. And this was now the afternoon, and the Greeks were there. And what did our Lord say? He said, now the time has come for the Son of God to be praised. Okay? So he knew that the pagans, the idolaters, Greeks would become very faithful Christians, and that the New Testament would be written in the Greek language. And this is something that Kissinger once wiped off the face of the earth. And this is unfortunately one of the means that they have to do that, putting a country into such dire straits that it could never get out of it. So the next video after this will be what the economics professor Yanis Varoufakis had to say concerning this. He says, his advice is quit European Union, go back to the drachma, and forget about the euro. European Union is just a waste of time and effort. He may be right, because things are a lot worse now than they were 8 years ago when he started saying this. I'll leave a link below for you for this. This is on Express UK. We briefed something written by Joe Barnes. Kindly support by contributing to my Patreon account. You'll find it in the description box below. Thank you.